Kill alive.
Well, it seems that we have a guest in our chat room already. Hello, Joey.
Hello, Joey. What is he saying? I'm not in chat. I'm reading the fic.
He just says bogeys.
Bogies. God, you're British. I forget that sometimes.
Anyway,
Nice.
This is another episode of Storytime with Scrappy and Friends. My name is Scrappy 592, and after several delays, we are here today to read the final chapters of The L Stands for Loser by the Windzilla.
Yep.
It's been a long time coming, but, well, real life got in the way.
Yeah, I got a job.
Good for you, Tanner.
Yay.
Pardon my, everything, I'm just a little out of it today, and so is Tanner, which is fitting for Luigi's state of mind at this point.
Yeah, no.
I kind of just want to have this story finished more than anything.
It's been one of my favorites, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I've enjoyed most of this, yeah.
Yes, it was definitely a favorite of mine. I'm not getting into final, I'm just giving some context. It was definitely a favorite of mine when I was younger, but, you know, I was a literal child over a decade ago.
Right.
This story is a product of its time in more ways than one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if the Mario movie isn't anything remotely like this fanfic, I'll be disappointed.
It has a very Always Sunny tone, and Luigi's being played by Charlie.
Right.
Okay, I actually did not do introductions. Hi, I'm Scrappy. Nova is here, Tanner's here, Harry's here.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, everyone, I think pretty much everyone here is out of it. So
Yeah.
I'll get right into this. These are the final two chapters of the story. Originally, L Stands for Loser was seemingly supposed to continue like well after the three-part movie for all intents and purposes. But for whatever reason, only two more chapters were made after the Mr. L arc. And basically they're kind of, they weren't intended as an epilogue, but they are retroactively just an epilogue now.
I mean, there's not really anywhere you can go from the Mr. L arc, because it sort of wrapped up a lot of what the series, a lot of the series' themes.
Yeah, honestly, because I thought that was the meant to be like the finale.
It does feel like it. Yeah, no, it feels very final.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does feel final, but, well, Windzilla had more ideas, not as many as you'd think, based off of just the two chapters we got, but...
Yeah, I did look in the like author's notes for like the last chapter, I think, and they did seem to have plans to like continue this for a while, but yeah, it just ends.
Yeah, well, I'd say where it ends for real this time is pretty conclusive in its own right, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, well...
I mean, to be fair, I didn't even really like the last two chapters.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like that. Those are probably the ones I felt the most on. Like, besides that, I've really enjoyed this fic, but those last couple chapters didn't do much for me. But still.
Okay, well, anyway, these are the last two chapters, and they were written in, well, at least the first one of the last two was probably written predominantly like in late 2008, early 2009, published in 2009. So, yeah, coincidentally, it wound up kind of overlapping with a then contemporary movie that was in theaters at the time, and that's noted in the author's notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I guess not to go too deep into story spoilers, yeah, Luigi becomes a mall cop. And yeah, since I was, due to prior episodes, I would like to just kind of start doing general content notes for stories before they're read on air. Oh gosh, where's the list? Since Tanner has this thing called a job, he was not able to read a chapter ahead of time, and Tanner of all people got shocked by some of the content.
Yeah, no. Did I write?
Pardon?
Did I write this?
I don't know. Are you the Wimpzilla?
Yes, I am the fella.
Well,
That's the big reveal. That's the big twist of this series.
I wonder if Wimpzilla, like, still writes stuff.
We should have
FFN.
an episode going because we've already gone off on a lot of tangents.
Yeah. What if we, like,
So-
managed to get him into an
Yeah.
episode?
Be interesting. Okay, so as we all know, L stands for Loser is a occasionally very dark comedy, and this chapter is not the most violent, but probably the most sardonic.
Oh yeah.
Okay, content in these chapters include, but are not. I misread that. Content in these chapters includes, but is not limited to, objectification of women, police brutality, attempted murder, including fratricide, animal rights activist mockery, animal abuse, attempted suicide, infidelity, mockery of those with mental disabilities, exclusionary heteronormativity and cisnormativity, and depending on how I read this, possible transphobia. And that one I need to put an asterisk on because I don't know.
Yeah, that is a lot of stuff.
Fun for the whole family.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, with that all put out there for your convenience, I suppose. We I guess we're about to get into it. If that puts you off, that's fine. Feel free to leave at any time.
Alright. And the transphobia thing definitely raises an eyebrow, but yeah, let's go.
Alright, well, this is the L stands for Loser, Chapter 19. No, Chapter 20. No, for Pete's sake, my browser messed up. Chapter 19, Deep Fried Mayo. Goodness.
We're off to you know what this is making for, Scrappy? A good episode.
Yeah. And so it begins. With a weak story plot that is driven by what can only be called cruel orphan jokes, Adopt Me Amy gets 2 stars out of 5. Next, we'll review the sleeper hit, Chuck Norris Beats Up Everyone. The television announced. Mario was waiting on the couch for his brother to get downstairs, and decided to pass the time with some TV.
Hey Mario, you ready to go?
Luigi asked. Mario turned off the TV and turned to his brother. Luigi's usual attire had been replaced by slacks, a button-up shirt, and an atrocious tie that he was currently having difficulty with.
I know I should have gotten a clip on. I know it!
Mario ignored his brother and headed out the door to the car. It was about a week ago, eating the last of their leftover pizza they had rationed to last a week, and setting up the rat traps around their horribly mattressed beds, that they realized that perhaps they aren't getting the income they would like. So they took their CATs the following day and had received their results this morning. Much to their delight, they had received recommendation for a position 1 level above plumber, mall security guards. Today was the interview with the chief, and Mario was growing impatient with his brother. He honked the horn many times to let Luigi know that they had to leave now. In response, Luigi burst out of the front door, blue in the face, struggling with his tie that was now choking him to death. Acting on his brotherly instincts, Mario leapt from the car and took out his switchblade. In one swift motion, he cut the tie in half, barely scraping the hairs on the back of Luigi's neck. Luigi collapsed to the ground in relief and gasped for breath.
Definitely should have gotten the clip on.
Luigi coughed. Mario rolled his eyes and led his brother to the car. After a much less eventful drive to the Coconut Mall, the two brothers found their way to the headquarters of the mall security crew, in a location that best expressed how much of a key factor they were. In a location that best expressed how much of a key factor they were to keeping the peace in society. The basement. So you rookie.
You can do them.
Okay. So you rookies think you're ready for the cold, heartless world of being a mall security cop? The chief bellowed.
Yes, sir!
Luigi instinctively replied, saluting the chief. Well, we don't just give anybody who walks through that door and asks, pretty please, a badge. They have to prove their worth to us, the chief explained. The chief then ducked under his desk and returned with a thick stack of papers. The desk slightly bent under the paper's weight, giving evidence to its immense weight.
What's that?
Luigi asked, terrified of what the answer might be. This is a placement test. See if you have the technical know-how to handle any situation you may come across. Luigi freaked out.
A pop quiz? But I didn't study! I'm not ready!
It was high school all over again. Rule number 1 of the Force, no whining. Now take your tests to those separate desks over there. We don't need any wandering eyes between the two of you. Got it? Luigi walked up to the desk and slid his pile over the desk's edge, and dropped to the ground once he was left to bear its entire weight.
This thing is heavy!
Luigi whined. That's the first part of your test. Getting it to your desk. The chief answered. Hurry up before you fail the first portion. Luigi's fragile fingers were pinned to the ground, and he was soon determined that no amount of grunting would give Luigi the strength he needed to lift the weight. With a sigh, he resorted to his last option left, painfully scraping his fingers across the concrete floor as he dragged the pages of his test to his desk. And so it began. Inch by painful inch, the concrete grinded away at his fingers, scraping off most of his glove by the time he made it to the halfway mark. Luigi chanced a glance over to his brother, who was now a full quarter into his test. Dumbfounded by Mario's test-taking prowess, Luigi resumed his dragging.
Oh my god, he can read.
The chief was doing work on his computer, solitaire, when he heard a yelp from across his office. He turned to see Luigi 3 feet from his desk, crying like a little baby. With a sigh, he said, You know, you don't have to take the whole thing at once. Luigi contemplated this for a moment. With a strong jerk, he pulled his fingers out from beneath the stack. He examined his glove, which was worn down in some spots to the point where you could see Luigi's finger. Returning his attention to his test, Luigi picked up the top third of his pile and heaved it over to the desk. He returned for the second section of test and the final third, before finally flopping down in his seat and beginning the test. The front page bore the title, Mall Security Acceptance Test, and a single line beneath it, clearly where Luigi was to put his name. After doing so, Luigi flipped the front cover to his first page of questions. Question number 1. What do you do in the case of an old lady having her purse stolen from her? Easy. Luigi wrote down on the blank line.
Arrest the purse stealer.
Question number 2. A bullet is headed for a civilian at a rate of 400 miles per hour at an angle of 6 degrees at an initial height of 4 feet 3 inches. You are 2 feet to the left of the civilian. At what angle and speed must you leap in order to take the bullet in a self-sacrificing but totally awesome means of protecting the civilian? Graph your equation. Show all work. Luigi's hopes were suddenly not all that high. To his left, he heard the loud creak of Mario getting out of his desk and returning the completed assignment to the chief. Luigi didn't want to seem incompetent in comparison to his brother, so he jotted down some random numbers and squiggled a line on the given graph and moved on to question 3. Question number 3. Discuss your ethical and political views of the ancient Greek philosophy of altruism, and use historical facts to prove your point. Luigi gave out a hopeless sigh. Is there anything wrong? The chief asked.
No, nothing's wrong. I'll finish this baby in absolutely no time.
Luigi shouted. 7 hours later, Mario was sound asleep, slumped over in his chair. The chief eyed the clock, noting that it was getting close to quitting time. Come on, maggot, the chief pleaded. My wife is gonna kill me if I come home late again.
Hold your horses!
Luigi snapped back.
I'm just having trouble with this one problem.
The chief got up from his seat and walked over to Luigi. Leaning over his shoulder, the chief peered at the question Luigi was stuck on. Question number 786. The next sentence is true. The last sentence is false. Which statement is correct? The chief growled and grabbed Luigi's test. Luigi spun around to see him rip the unfinished portion of the test off in a fit of rage. There, now your test is finished. Congratulations! The chief yelled. Come back for the results tomorrow. For now, get out of my office and let me go home. Mario and Luigi were then unceremoniously kicked out of the chief's office, quite literally. Rubbing his rump on the way back to the car, Luigi turned to his brother and asked,
Jeez, bro. How did you answer those questions so fast?
Mario shrugged as he opened the door to the car. Luigi stared at the ceiling that evening. His thoughts keeping him awake well into the night. Would he get the job? Was he ready for such a responsibility? Would it come with free donuts? As these questions ran through his mind, Luigi slowly gave into slumber, eager for the next day. Oh my gosh! A toad screamed. The halls of the Coconut Mall were in total pandemonium. A cloaked figure sneered as he watched the chaos break loose, and yeah, it's Waluigi. Just someone handle that.
Fools! Today you shall all perish at the hands of Dr. Dread, the most evil baddie in all the land!
Thank you. The crowd beneath him scrambled, looking for an unblocked exit, screaming with fright. We're all gonna die! And help me! Sounded from the mob of fearful civilians. But one female voice somehow found the ability to scream above all others, to announce what may have been their shining light of hope.
That was... Look, it's Luigi.
She sang out, pointing her hand to the balcony opposite of Dr. Dread's. And there Luigi stood, a smile of confidence and ability shining on his face with perfectly straight shining teeth that glinted whenever he grinned. His security mall guard uniform hugged his bulging biceps tightly, at dread of bursting open should he flex. The crowd shouted its excitement to their hero.
Luigi! Help save us!
He's so dreamy.
Luigi's here! We're saved! I don't know who this is! This is Tony! He's gonna come in and he's gonna fix your sink!
There's still hope!
Kick his butt with your amazing physique!
Hey! Dr. Dread narrowed his eyes. His sneer turned to a deep scowl at the mention of Luigi's name.
So, you think you can stop me this time, Luigi?
Dr. Dread spat.
Oh, please.
Luigi scoffed, his masculine voice swooning the ladies almost instantaneously.
You always lose in the end, Waluigi. Why not just give it up already?
Waluigi stepped out of the shadows to reveal his hideous figure.
You wanna dance?
He challenged, lifting his string bean arms into a fighting stance.
If you insist.
Luigi replied. With the slightest of efforts, Luigi leaped leapt the 70-yard gap between him and his arch rival, landing like a feather 3 feet in front of Waluigi.
In fact, I'll let you have the first swing.
Waluigi watched as Luigi put both hands behind his back and closed his eyes, communicating his lack of faith in Waluigi's strength. Outraged by the action, Waluigi focused all of his anger, hatred, and fury towards his righteous enemy into a hard blow into Luigi's stomach. His hand instantly broke against Luigi's rock-hard abs, sending him to the ground crying like a small child. Luigi opened his eyes and looked down on the ground to see his nemesis bawling his eyes out. With total sincerity, he asked,
"Did you hit me yet?"
You think you've won this round?
Waluigi coughed.
But it's far from over!
With that, he brought out a black box with a single red button. With a loud cackle, he pushed the button. You're enjoying this too much.
I am.
Loud ticking sounded out in the hallway, silencing the cheers that were earlier praising Luigi. Everyone began looking left and right for the source of the ticking. Before Luigi could comment, Waluigi explained.
I have set up 400 pounds of C4 to explode within 30 seconds of pushing this button. I would suggest finding it before it explodes.
With that, he activated his jetpack and lifted off to the skies, crashing through the glass ceiling above him.
It's in my eyes!
I love that detail. Luigi leapt from the second-story balcony to the first floor, where the bomb was located. The screams of fear rang out for a second time as the ticking became more rapid. Luigi kept calm, thinking the situation out.
Where in the mall could someone conceal 400 pounds of C4 without anyone noticing?
Luigi asked himself. He looked around the structure of the mall until his eyes landed on the perfect hiding spot. A 20-foot-tall concrete statue of Luigi himself, which the city so willingly built in his honor for his heroic duties. Approaching the statue at near lightning speed, Luigi heard the ticking get louder. Pressing his ear against the concrete, he could hear the timer within the hollowed statue. With no time to waste, Luigi bent over and ripped the statue off its foundation in one swift motion. With no hesitation, Luigi threw the concrete statue full of C4 into the air, through the glass ceiling, and well into the atmosphere.
Now that's right, for shattering the glass ceiling!
Thank you. While Luigi at this time was laughing about his victory over his enemy.
I've done it! I finally won! Today belongs to the great, powerful, handsome, incredible...
Luigi was knocked unconscious. He was knocked unconscious as the statue hit him square in the face. At that exact moment, the timer hit 0 and ignited the C4, encasing the villain in a fiery death ball the size of the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he's fucking dead.
Luckily, thanks to Luigi's fast action, everyone else was safe. The crowd cheered louder than any crowd had cheered before, lifting Luigi high into the air on their shoulders. They chanted, "Luigi! Luigi! Luigi!"
Luigi!
over and over as streamers and confetti clouded the air with celebration. While Luigi slammed through the glass ceiling once more and hit the ground. Within seconds, those in the crowd who were not holding Luigi high in the air were collectively punching and kicking Luigi as hard as they could in the face.
That is a dead body. Like,
By the time
he could have survived that.
By the time the cops had come, his face was an unrecognizable blob of black and blue.
My
The
God.
model showed up. The model showed up around the time while Luigi was thrown into the back seat.
Hey, Luigi.
Gosh, one of them said seductively.
Can I get your number?
No, I want it!
No, I want it, another model argued.
No, Luigi. Pick me. I sound just like the first model.
Another shouted. You want to go, sister? One challenged. Bring it, girlfriend! Girl!
Fight!
The crowd chanted. Without another word, the mud pit was prepared and popcorn was distributed throughout the crowd. Goodness gracious. Stripped down to their swimsuits, the models faced off against one another in the arena, ready to swat and pull hair as much as necessary to get Luigi's phone number. The countdown began. 3, 2, 1. Beep, 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 beep. The irritating beeping awoke Luigi from his slumber. Lifting his head from his pillow, his arm lazily reached over to his side table and smacked the snooze button on top of his alarm clock.
It's always before the models mud wrestle.
Luigi mumbled. His morning amnesia soon passed over, and he remembered that today was the day he found out his test results. Morning amnesia, for those who don't know, are those first few seconds after you wake up in the morning where you don't recall where you are, who you are, or what you're doing. Most psychologists theorize that the brain does this as a means of keeping you from screaming/crying incessantly every morning.
Mario, wake up!
Luigi exclaimed excitedly.
Today's the day!
Mamma mia. Mario sluggishly rolled over and faced his brother, his eyes still closed. He held up 5 fingers.
No, not 5 more minutes, Mario. Get up now!
Luigi said sternly. Mario held up 4 fingers.
I am not negotiating with you, mister.
3 fingers.
Fine, but only 3 minutes.
Luigi said. He walked to the bathroom and turned on the shower. As the water slowly heated to a temperature that wouldn't cause hypothermia, Luigi turned to the mirror and put on his game face.
Who's the man, Luigi? Who's the man, Luigi? You the man! Who's the man, Luigi? Who's the man? You the man! That's who!
Luigi said. It was part of his morning routine for Luigi to beef up what little self-esteem the world hadn't taken away from him. After more "you demands" and much flexing in the mirror, steam rose from behind the shower's curtain, signaling his shower was now ready. Hopping in the shower and closing the curtain behind him, Luigi grabbed his favorite loofah and went to work. The warm water on his skin was soothing, and got him relaxed for his favorite shower activity.
Just a small town girl,
Luigi sang into his soap bar.
living in a lonely world. She took the midnight train going anywhere.
Luigi's loud, off-pitched screaming woke Mario from his slumber. Knowing that Luigi's golden pipes wouldn't let him travel back to the land of sleep, Mario hopped out of bed and entered the bathroom.
Dream people! I forgot how this next part goes!
Luigi sang in tune.
Blah, 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 in the night! Don't stop believing!
Mario rolled his eyes. His brother didn't even know where the chorus came in, but he insisted on singing that song every freaking morning. It was around the time Mario lifted the... What?
That... some saliva got into my... Oh, God, I gotta stop hanging my mouth open in the shower.
It was around the time Mario lifted the toilet seat that Mario... Excuse me. It was around the time Mario lifted the toilet seat that Luigi went into his air guitar solo.
I don't even remember the guitar part of this song.
I don't know. Luigi sang, trying to imitate the sounds of a guitar.
Don't stop believing!
Mario flushed the toilet, sending icy water through the shower head, which hit Luigi like thousands of tiny daggers.
Yo!
I apologize to your family in advance, Tanner.
Yeah, no, I had to go like full fucking Mel Blanc for that.
Also, we have a new viewer here as well.
Also, this might be the most. It's weird that I was tired. This might be the most fun I've had recording.
Luigi's just a fun character to voice.
He's such a fucking dweeb. He's such a dweeb.
Hello, Marks98TNT. I hope you're enjoying this as much as we are voicing this. Enjoying watching, listening to this as we are voicing this, that's what I meant to say. I can speak the English well.
Yeah, no, and I hope you're just as tired as I am.
I don't mean to distract from the story, but Harry, that Waddle Dee was like really big.
Oh yeah.
Commentary from Scrappy. You should be a Let's Player, dude.
I mean, I kind of am.
You are. Yeah.
Luigi turned the water knob from high to low to off instantly. His arm reached from behind the curtain and patted the wall in search for the towel rack. Finding his green L embroidered towel. I love how he has his own personal towel. Luigi.
Did he like specifically ask that to be tailored, or?
Luigi pulled it from behind the curtain and quickly wrapped it around his waist before exiting the shower, and I imagine there's Luigi merchandise in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah, I don't know, with his rep in this story, I don't know.
Mario! I wasn't finished rinsing!
Luigi scolded, his hair still foamy with shampoo. He jumps back in the shower and continued, aggravated with Mario's lack of bladder control. 12 minutes of intense loofah action later, Luigi emerged from the bathroom refreshed and ready for the day.
Alright, Mario. I'm finished with my shower.
Luigi said.
You can use it.
Mario, already clothed and heading out the door, turned around and gave him a strange look.
Mario, deodorant doesn't excuse you from your bathing responsibilities.
Mario slammed the door and entered the bathroom with a sneer. Who did Luigi think he was? His mother? Luigi rolled his eyes and went to put on the clothes he had neatly picked out the night before. A few minutes later, as Luigi put on his hat, the sound of running water ended, and Mario stepped out of the bathroom door.
Did you use soap?
Luigi asked. Mario stared at him blankly for a moment before quickly ducking back into the bathroom. The sound of running water started again, and Luigi gave out a sigh. He walked down the stairs and entered the kitchen. The oven's clock read 8:23. 17 minutes to get ready before the Mario Brothers had to go out the door. Luigi turned on the oven and grabbed the pan from the pantry. Breakfast wasn't only the most important meal of the day, it was also the most delicious. Deciding on a ham and cheese omelet, Luigi opened the fridge and pulled out a carton of eggs. As he beat the eggs, the water upstairs shut off.
Shampoo!
Luigi yelled. The water turned back on. The eggs slowly bubbled in the pan, which prompted Luigi to add a splash of milk. This was a well-known trick to make the omelet lighter and fluffy. Butter and oil was added as the water shut off once more.
That's true.
Luigi was finally adding the cheese and ham to his delicacy when he heard his brother come down the stairs. Luigi turned around to see Mario's clothes sticking to his wet skin. Hot.
Did you even bother to dry off?
Luigi asked, already knowing the answer. Mario shrugged.
Get back upstairs and dry yourself off. Sweat, it's like you're an 8-year-old all over again. And comb your hair!
Mario angrily walked back up the stairs as instructed, fuming about how unfair the world was. Luigi removed the omelet from its pan and onto his plate. A tall glass of milk and an orange accompanied the omelet. After enjoying this morning's creation, Luigi glanced at the clock, noting that in 2 minutes they had to leave. Mario walked into the kitchen, finally looking proper for the day.
Well, don't you look pretty?
Luigi mocked.
Get ready, cause we gotta go in 2 minutes.
Mario looked at the clock. 2 minutes was more than enough time for breakfast. Mario walked to the pantry and pulled out a box of Wheaties, of course adorned with his smiling profile on the front, and grabbed a gallon of milk from the fridge. Sitting at the table, Mario went through his own breakfast process. 1. Fill mouth with Wheaties. 2. Drown Wheaties in said mouth with milk. 3. Chew and swallow.
I
4.
hate though.
4. Repeat until full.
That's so evil! That's no! No! That and the deodorant thing, because I've known people who do that!
Luigi couldn't stand the sight of Mario engorging himself in such fashion, and instead headed out the front door. He was about to enter the car when he noticed the mailbox. Unlike every other day of his life, Luigi found the box to be empty. It just seemed to be out of place. It just seemed too out of place for Luigi, but he shrugged it off and hopped into the passenger seat.
Get your butt out here, Mario!
Luigi shouted. He honked the horn to get his brother's attention. A moment later, Mario emerged from his house, his shirt covered in milk stains. He paused as Luigi looked at his ruined attire from top to bottom.
Forget it! We're late as is!
Luigi said coldly. Mario got into the car and started the engine.
I just hope for your sake the chief doesn't mind a dirty shirt.
Luigi commented as he turned onto the highway. He leaned and switched on a radio. Walk This Way blared through the speakers.
Walk this way!
Luigi instantly yelled.
Talk this way!
I was smacking the side of my seat to simulate him, like, smacking the steering wheel to the beat.
Oh gosh.
You couldn't see it, but I'm acting.
Thank you. Mario glared at his brother. Luigi let out an oops and immediately shut his trap. Long ago, the brothers made an agreement that Luigi could only sing to the radio if he was the only one in the car. With a sigh, Luigi turned and watched the passing scene outside his window, tapping his finger to the music. For a few minutes, the brothers sat in silence, lost in their own thoughts, all alone. The sound of a police car's alarm brought them back to reality. Mario pulled the car to the side of the road and parked, allowing the cop to pass. Much to his dislike, the cop didn't pass Mario. He parked right behind him, preparing to give him a ticket. Mario patted his pockets and soon got a worried look on his face.
You didn't!
Luigi said. Unfortunately, Mario did.
You forgot your license again!
Mario nodded, noting that the cop was reaching for his ticket book on his dashboard. With a sigh, Luigi said,
Fine, but this is the last time I do this!
Luigi reached under his seat for the stuff. The police officer opened the door to his car and hopped out. He walked to the car with pen and ticket book in hand, practicing his intimidation voice in his head. He tapped the glass of Mario's door window. Mario rolled down said window. Sir, do you know I pulled you over? The officer barked, flaunting his much-practiced intimidation voice. Mario shook his head. I pulled you over for going 76 in a 65 zone. The officer informed the plumber. Mario faked a face of shock, and looked at the speedometer as if he couldn't possibly know he went so fast. The cop sighed, inwardly asking why they always tried this stupid act. May I see your license and registration? A loud screaming was heard from the passenger seat, prompting the guard to lean and see who screamed. In the seat, he saw Luigi wearing lipstick, a wig, and a maternity dress. A large pillow was stuffed under the dress.
The cop kids are getting worse!
Luigi screamed, grabbing Mario's shoulder. She your wife? The officer asked blankly. Mario nodded.
You did this to me, you son of a Koopa! I hate you! I hate you! I hate you!
Luigi the racist said, pounding on Mario's shoulder.
fucking say? Holy shit!
Mario's eyes pleaded for the officer to let him go. Well, if I may see your license, I can...
Hurry! I think it's coming out!
Oh gosh, Luigi screamed louder, his face turning red.
Hey Tanner, what are you doing? Oh, I'm trying to make Luigi sound pregnant.
Dude, just go! The officer yelled. Mario tipped his hat and slammed on the gas pedal. The brothers did a quick check to see if the officer was still behind them. Thankful he wasn't, Luigi removed his disguise. For the rest of the trip, the brothers said nothing. Frankly, it's hard to make conversation through the awkwardness of having your brother dress up as a pregnant woman to avoid a well-deserved ticket. Minutes later, they pulled into the parking lot of the Coconut Mall and made their way to the HQ of the mall security squad. Now was the moment of truth. Well, are you two ready for the results of your test? The chief asked the two plumbers sitting across the desk from him.
Yes, sir!
Luigi said.
I'll take my results first.
Sure thing, the chief obliged. He typed Luigi's name into the computer. Luigi clenched his eyes close and crossed fingers. Luigi, you passed the test. With flying colors, I might add. The chief announced. Luigi pumped his fist in the air, followed by many.
Ah!
Now let's find out how Mario did, the chief continued. He typed in Mario's name, bringing his test up from the digital records. Mario, you failed the test. In fact, that's the lowest score I've ever seen for this test, the chief reported. The brothers were flabbergasted.
But how?
Luigi asked, stunned he got a job his brother didn't. Well, let's see, the chief said as he looked over the test. With a nod, he said, Alright, I think I know what the problem was. He wrote down, pop a cab and a little lawbreaker for every question. Even number 53, what would you do if a kitten got stuck in a tree? The chief spun the monitor around to show the brothers. Once Luigi confirmed his theory, he turned to his brother and asked,
Must violence be your solution to everything?
You realize mall cops don't get guns, right? The chief asked. Mario rose from his seat and exited the office, having lost all interest in the job.
Mario, what the fuck?
I guess that answers that question, the chief commented. Well, welcome to the force, Luigi. Here's your badge and the key to your locker. You'll find the rest of your uniform in there.
Wait, I don't get any training?
Luigi asked. We subscribe to the school of on-a-job training, the chief said. Your partner's name is Fred. He'll meet you in the locker room.
This is a job where I could potentially die. What the fuck?
With that, Luigi took his badge and key and entered the locker room. The key had the number 16 on it, so Luigi went to locker 16. Sure enough, it opened, revealing the neat uniform waiting for him. Today was the first day of his security career, and he was going to make the most of it.
Who wants to voice Fred? Nova has not gotten to do anything.
As if he wants it.
Hey, I'm looking for Luigi Mario.
A voice shouted down from down the hall.
Is anyone here with that name?
Yeah,
That'd be me, Luigi called. He had just gotten his uniform on and was now pinning the badge to his shirt. Luigi saw his partner come down the hall. He was an average-sized Koopa with an eye patch over his left eye. He seemed to have the confidence in his right eye that could only come from years of experience.
So you're the rookie.
Fred commented.
Nice to meet you. The name's Fred.
He held out his hand. Luigi grabbed it and gave a firm handshake. Fred took a look into Luigi's locker and saw many pictures plastered on the doors inside.
Who's this guy?
Fred asked.
That's my brother Mario.
Luigi informed Fred.
That guy who failed the test?
Fred asked. Apparently word got around about Mario's test.
Yeah.
Luigi answered.
And this guy?
Oh, Dexter, neighborhood kid.
Oh, who's that fine number?
Fred asked, nudging Luigi's arm playfully.
Your girlfriend?
That's Daisy. And actually, she's my ex-girlfriend.
Luigi said.
Oh, sorry about that.
Fred apologized.
If she's your ex, then why do you have your picture?
I don't know.
Luigi admitted.
I guess it's just reassuring to know that at one time I managed to get a girl to go out with me. And that someone truly believed that I was worth something special.
Fred said. He inspected the picture further.
Yeah, why are the lips so worn out?
Luigi slammed his locker door closed and quickly changed the subject.
So, about that patrol.
Right.
Fred said.
Follow me to the elevator. We got some people caught in trouble near a pet store on the 4th floor.
Luigi followed his partner into the elevator.
So, Fred, what kind of things should I know about this job?
First, always be prepared for the unexpected.
Fred instructed.
You wouldn't believe half the crap that goes on in this mall. Second, never let your guard down.
Come on, Fred. Could the mall really be that troublesome?
Luigi asked foolishly. The elevator rose to the first floor before stopping to let in a passenger. A Koopa walked in.
Hey, Rick.
Fred greeted. Rick pushed the third floor button. Hey, Fred! Okay, assume the position. Rick instructed.
Come on, Rick. Must we?
Fred whined. Rick pointed at the wall. Fred sighed. He braced himself against the wall as Rick swatted at his shirt and pant pockets.
What's going on?
Luigi asked, slightly disturbed by some random Koopa frisking his partner. What? Oh, nothing. My brother just gets kind of personal when I try to kill him. Rick responded.
What?
Luigi asked. The brothers ignored him. Alright, I don't think he brought any weapons, Rick concluded. No, I'm surprised you're even alive right now.
Did you really think my bomb-sniffing dog wouldn't find that piece of junk you hid under my doormat?
Fred asked. Shoot, forgot about the dog, Rick said under his breath. Luigi's mouth was agape.
Why are you trying to kill each other?
Huh? Oh, sibling rivalry and all that.
Fred said as if it was a perfectly reasonable explanation.
I knew you were gonna frisk me, Rick.
Oh, really? Rick said.
Yep. Luigi, may I see your hat?
Luigi's regular hat was back in his locker, so Luigi was left to assume Fred meant his uniform hat. Luigi handed it to his partner. Fred reached into the hat and pulled out a gun.
Oh my god!
Luigi screamed, backing into the corner. You're getting trickier, Fred, Rick said.
Thanks, Rick.
Fred said. He pointed the gun at Rick and fired. The bang was louder than Luigi had anticipated, and he watched in horror as Rick fell to the ground. The elevator doors opened and Fred sprinted out and down the mall. Luigi leaned over Rick.
Dude! Are you alright?
Luigi asked. Yeah, Rick responded weakly. Luigi helped him to his feet. Luckily, Fred never anticipates the bulletproof vest. Luigi was stunned.
Why can't you two just fight like normal brothers?
You know, we, we tried that, but it just always escalated. Rick calmly answered. Besides, nothing like the thrill of kill. We just stared at Rick. The doors had already closed and the elevator was now taking Luigi and Rick to the 4th floor. Luigi couldn't believe what had just occurred 7 minutes into his job. And somehow he knew that it was far from over. The doors opened and Luigi walked out to find himself on the highest floor in the mall. The glass ceiling was only feet out of his reach. There were many department stores in this mall, but the pet store in question was to the immediate left of the elevator. Luigi took a moment to mentally prepare himself for what was his first official mission as a mall cop, and he was most definitely not going to screw this up. He walked into the pet store ready for anything. It's a simple question, Tim shouted.
Answer any question you ask!
The store clerk responded.
Hey, what's going on here?
Luigi asked. I'm just trying to get some information, Tim defended. But this employee is refusing to oblige.
What's he trying to find out?
Luigi asked.
He asked if he could buy hamsters in bulk and what sauce I recommend with a hamster burger.
I don't see what's so hard about that question, Tim shouted.
All right, Tim, I think it's time for you to leave the store.
Luigi said.
Unless you want a hefty fine to pay. Unless you want a hefty fine to pay.
Luigi waved his ticket book threateningly. Tim glared at the store clerk. You win this round, but rest assured that I will return one day. Tim threatened. He left the store.
Glad I could help out with that little problem.
Luigi said, turning to leave the store.
Actually, that's not why I called you here.
The store clerk said.
You see, there's some protesters from the PFAR running throughout the store, disturbing my customers. In fact, here comes one now.
Gosh. Animals are people too! The aforementioned PFAR member shouted into the megaphone.
No, they aren't!
The store clerk corrected.
There's actually a large distinction between the two.
In a world of talking anthropomorphic turtles and dinosaurs. I don't even know, I'm running out of voices. Shut up! You don't understand these poor creatures' needs. They need to be free. They need to run wild, not caged in this horrible environment. The People for Animals Rights member argued.
Are you stupid?
The store clerk asked.
This store sells domesticated animals. They wouldn't last a day in the wild.
Hello, Bowser Jr.
Yeah, there he is. I'm fucking lethargic as shit right now.
They won't if they're never given the chance. The member ran back into the aisles of the store.
Oh, these people are driving me insane.
The store clerk shouted.
Can you please get them out of my store?
Yeah, no problem, sir.
Luigi said. He walked into the store and encountered his first PFAR person.
Excuse me, sir. I'll have to ask you to leave the store.
Ha! It would take the entire Mushroom Kingdom army to prevent me from saving these poor little fish. The PFAR member exclaimed, and Luigi called them sir, but then the notes say she. I don't know.
I
think that was just a typo.
Yeah, no, is that what you were saying the transphobia thing was? Because
No,
I
don't think that's not it. That was something else down the line, but I think this was just a flub.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
They then proceeded to scoop a bucket into the fish tank and remove a school of fish.
What are you doing with those fish? I'm sorry, I'm very tired.
Luigi asked. He watched as the protester carried the bucket to the restroom. Following her into the bathroom, he witnessed the fish being dumped into the toilet and then being flushed down the drain. Be free, little ones! She's so awful, She screamed as the
Why?
she screamed as the fish spiraled down the pipe to their deaths. Jeez.
Why did you do that?
Now they'll be free to swim in the ocean as God intended. Surely you don't question that all pipes lead to the ocean.
Yeah, they head to the ocean, but not before being filtered.
Luigi shouted.
You just sent those fish to their doom.
Are you so sure? The PFAR member scoffed. What are you, a pipe expert?
Yes, actually, I'm a plumber.
Luigi said fiercely. You don't look like one, the idiotic woman said, looking his uniform up and down.
Well, not right now. Just a mall cop because... Oh, forget it. You're not worth my time.
Luigi ran back into the store.
All right. If you are a member of the People for Animals Rights Committee, you are hereby banned from this pet store.
Believe that, right? Someone to Luigi's right asked.
I can see your PFAR badge.
Luigi commented. The person smoothly covered the badge with his hand. No, I'm not.
Don't you have a boys' day at the zoo to go ruin?
Not before I complete my mission! The member shouted. He turned and opened the kitty cage, and allowed the felines to pour out onto the floor. Luigi was knocked to the ground by the stampede of kittens. In a flash, the protesters escaped the store while he was down, thereby avoiding arrest. The kittens scraped their sandpaper-like tongues all over Luigi's poor face, who had one important concern on his mind.
I'm allergic to cats!
Luigi yelled. The weight of the kittens pinned him to the ground, causing his skin to redden and react violently. Luigi's savior was soon on the scene.
Here, kitty kitties!
The store clerk coaxed.
I got a treat for you!
The kittens turned their heads towards the store clerk, who held a single anchovy in his hand. The kittens ran off of Luigi and sprinted for the delicious treat they were taunted with. At the last second, the store clerk spun and dodged the kittens, letting them run full speed into their designated cage. Luigi sat straight up and checked his body for any breaking out. His skin was blotchy, but altogether fine.
Oh man, thank you so much.
Luigi lingered, not knowing the clerk's name.
Cascar.
The clerk finished for him.
4 times.
What?
This clerk's voice has changed like 4 times. I think I was going for the Simpsons clerk, so I'm gonna go back to that.
Alright. The clerk finished for him.
Thanks, Cascar.
Luigi said, shaking his hand gratefully.
Well, I'm just glad they're finally out of my... Well, I'm just glad they're finally out of my store.
Cascor said. Luigi's walkie-talkie went off.
Nova? I just read ahead. Okay. So we're calling back to that. Hello? Anyone?
Nova. Okay, I'm taking care of this hooligan who ripped out the last page of every book in the bookstore, Fred responded. Luigi heard Tim's voice in the background noise. If you want to know how the book ends, just look it up on the internet, ya baby! Luigi waved goodbye to Cascor and entered the elevator. He pushed the first floor button to head down to the food court. Wiping the sweat from his brow, he watched as the red number above the door counted down to 1. With a ding, doors opened up and let Luigi into the food court. What is wrong with this woman? A voice shouted from the heart of the food court. A crowd was gathering around a single point, all wanting to see what the commotion was about. Luigi fought his way through the thicket of people, asking them to please move and allow him in. After much shoving, he saw who was making the trouble. and almost doubled back to the elevator. I just cannot. Daisy screeched. She squatted as she walked and folded her arms behind her back in a chicken-like fashion. The crowd that surrounded her stood motionless, stunned at the sight. Oops, Luigi muttered under his breath. He remembered that many days earlier, he had fooled Daisy into being a chicken imitation street performer, and it looks like she had yet to snap out of it.
Daisy?
Luigi tried. Much to his surprise, Daisy looked at him, recognizing her name.
What are you doing?
Daisy awkwardly walked over to Luigi and whispered under her breath that only the two of them could hear.
I'm performing.
She answered.
Daisy, you're not a street performer.
Luigi replied.
Quit before you do something really weird.
Oh gosh. Too late!
Okay,
Remember.
you know what? We'll deal with the chica situation later. I'm pretty sure someone just died. I have a lot to learn about this job.
Too late! A member of the crowd shouted. Look what she did in my lunch bag! He angrily shouted, thrusting his sack lunch in the air. I laid an egg, Daisy explained. Oh, I looked in here, and I assure you that was no egg you laid. Luigi gulped down the omelets that was coming up his throat and continued.
But Daisy, this isn't you! You're a princess, not a chicken impersonator!
Daisy looked at him strangely. She didn't think he was lying, but she just couldn't accept the thought of her being royalty out of the blue. How can I trust you? She asked. Everyone looked intently at Luigi. He tried to find the right words before he responded.
Because you've trusted me before, and I might have taken advantage of that before. But believe me when I say that I know this isn't you. I know who you are. And I know deep down you know who I am.
Daisy looked at his eyes. They were so warm, so familiar. She knew this person from somewhere before, and she thought hard. Where did she know him from? It was a long moment of silence before a name escaped her lips. Luigi, she said out loud. A small smile spread across the mall cop's face. Everything came rushing back to her at once. Terrasaland, Luigi, Peach, the Mushroom Kingdom, murdering Luigi, everything.
Is everything okay now?
Luigi asked. Daisy nodded. Hey, yeah, I remember. I slipped and fell, and then I woke up and thought I was a chicken impersonator. This mall is getting so sued. She quickly added under her breath.
Alright guys, nothing to see here.
Luigi announced. Soon the crowd dissipated, leaving Luigi alone with Daisy. They both stood there awkwardly. Hey, about that whole violent breakup thing, Daisy started. Sorry about that,
It's fine.
Luigi said.
That's all behind us now.
Yeah, Daisy said with a half laugh. Well, I guess I'll see you around then.
Yeah, alright then.
Luigi said. He turned and walked across the food court, keeping an eye out for any trouble. Passing by the cinema, his ears picked up something of interest. Nobody you want to voice this Toad? Sure he's here. It might be busy, I guess. Okay, so where is it? Dude, have you heard about the mall guard who had to be rescued by a litter of kittens? This is awful for everyone involved. One Toad asked the other. Like, I'm gonna redo that.
I'll do the other Toad. I'm really tired.
Dude, have you heard about that mall guard that had to be rescued by a litter of kittens? One Toad asked the other.
Where? I scrolled up a little. Oh, okay, I'm good. I found it. Wait.
One Toad asked the other.
No!
No way!
The other responded.
He must be a major wimp.
Yeah, like a Wimpzilla or something.
Hey! That's not cute or clever!
Luigi shouted.
Those cats could be more dangerous than you can imagine.
Like cats with rabies? One toad asked.
Oh,
The other one added.
can you imagine the guy who saved that guard guy?
That was a Clark cat score or something, I think, the toad answered. Luigi would have corrected their false conversation if he hadn't heard the boos and complaints of the people farther ahead in line. When he saw Tim there, he knew nothing good could be happening, so he went to investigate.
All right, what's going on?
Luigi demanded. An angry moviegoer shouted from his place in line. This little brat is ruining our cinematic experience. Tim was taken aback. Hey, I'm saving you people $10 in 2 hours by telling you the endings.
Hey, he can't know all the endings.
Luigi commented. Oh, yes he can, the moviegoer corrected. Watch. Hey kid, how does Adopt Me Amy end? Amy adopts a little brat and they live happily ever after. Duh, Tim responded. Grumbles were heard as people stepped out of line. What are you guys seeing? Tim asked a random couple in line. We're seeing the sequel, part 2, the toad responded without thinking. Actually, it's a trilogy, seeing how the movie ends on a cliffhanger, having Jack plummeting to his doom after it's revealed he's the father of Jenny's child. It was awesome. More grumbling was heard. As people exited the line, the manager came storming out of the cinema.
Do you want me to voice this character? This kid is costing me money. That's not a good voice for that character, but whatever.
He complained.
I want him out of here right now.
I'm working on it, sir.
Luigi said. He turned to see Tim talking with another group of people. Do you like the Red Room? Tim shouted with excitement. That's such an awesome movie. Wait until you found out the killers. Tim got the wind knocked out of him as Luigi tackled him to the ground. Jeez.
You are not giving the ending away to another movie.
Luigi shouted. Can I at least tell him the answer to the chiropractor center's clue? Tim whined.
No! I don't know why they would make the title all lowercase either.
No, that's just a plot point, not a title for a movie. Luigi said sternly. He placed his hand over Tim's mouth and dragged him far away from the cinema. Tim struggled to ruin the ending, but to no avail. Finally, Luigi dragged him all the way to Starbean's cafe.
What is wrong with you? Why are you causing all this trouble?
Luigi asked. I'm bored, Tim answered. Luigi's eye twitched.
You're bored?
Luigi repeated.
What kind of excuse is that?
Jeez, I'm just trying to have a little fun, Tim whined.
Well, stay out of trouble, or else I'll have to take action.
Luigi said with a wag of his finger. That only works if I have a shred of respect for you, Tim commented. Luigi glared.
That's strike one. 2 more in your band.
So you're saying I can make trouble one more time without consequence? Awesome! Tim said excitedly. He ran off before Luigi could correct himself. Just then Rick came up. Hey, how's the patrol going? He asked. Luigi sighed.
Not exactly a great start.
Bummer, Rick said. He held out his cappuccino. You want?
Sure.
Luigi said. He took a swig of the drink with much satisfaction.
What flavor is that?
Don't know, Rick replied. I got it from Frank, so I need someone to taste test it for poison. Luigi spat the drink onto the floor.
Are you kidding me?
Rick took a sniff of his. I have hiccups. Rick took a sniff of his drink, ignoring Luigi. Ew, pumpkin spice. Gross. Here, you can have it. Rick shoved the plastic cup into Luigi.
Pumpkin spice is good.
Rick shoved the plastic cup into Luigi and walked away. Luigi looked at the drink with fear, remembering he had swallowed. Coincidentally, Fred came on the scene. Hey, buddy, what's up? Fred asked.
I drank some of your poison cappuccino. That's what's up.
Luigi stated. Nah, it's not poison. It's not poison. Oh, no, but you're back.
It's not poison. I just gave it to Rick since I hate pumpkin spice.
Fred commented.
Though I must admit that would have been a great idea.
Luigi looked at Fred as if he went insane, but the feeling passed, and Luigi enjoyed his delicious pumpkin spice flavored beverage. The sweet concoction almost made Luigi forget his troublesome first day of work, but for only a while. Oh gosh. I'm going to jump! Karakari shouted. And there's not nothing that you can do about it. Karakari was perched on the edge of the third floor, with nothing below him except a large concerned crowd. His friend Mike brought out a megaphone.
Oh, is this is the guy?
It's that guy.
Peter! But Barricari, you can't jump! You're in a wheelchair!
Oh yeah, and Karakari was in a wheelchair since both of his legs were broken, because of Luigi's pushing Dexter down the hill. Yeah, I'm in a wheelchair! Karakari shouted. And you know why? My legs will never heal. I lost my only job because I can't deliver mail without the ability to walk.
You can fly. He can fly.
I don't know.
But Barricari!
Mike tried to reason with him.
There's so much you wanted to do. What about running that marathon? Or swimming across the Atlantic that exists in this universe?
Karakari glared at Mike, who didn't piece together that broken legs meant you couldn't do those things. Luigi grabbed the megaphone from Mike.
Barricari! Barricari! What do you think you're doing?
The doctor said I'll never be able to use my legs again! Karakari shouted. And good grief. And life isn't worth living if I'm going to be trapped in my own body. Jesus!
Jesus Christ!
Pardon my language, Luigi turned to Fred.
Go to the mall infirmary and get Barricari's medical records. Go to the mall infirmary and get Barricari's medical records.
Why?
Fred
Just
asked.
do it!
Luigi growled.
It'll keep him busy.
No, I'll keep him busy.
I'll keep him busy.
I like to imagine Luigi just did turn to Fred with the megaphone still up.
Yeah.
Fred nodded and ran to the infirmary. Luigi turned the megaphone back on.
Come on, Barricari. Come on, Barricari. There has to be something worth living for.
Luigi reasoned.
There isn't a single thing?
No! Karakari shouted. He placed his hands on the wheels of his chair and prepared to push forward.
Wait!
Luigi shouted into the megaphone. Karakari looked at him.
What would you do? What would your wife do without you?
Luigi asked, hoping to give him a reason to live. She left me! Karakari shouted. Turns out she only loved me for my paycheck.
Seriously?
Luigi asked.
How much do mailmen make?
Don't remind me about how great my life was before that stupid wheelchair ran me over, Karakari said, beginning to inch his way to the edge of the floor.
Here, Mike, keep him busy.
Luigi said, shoving the megaphone into his chest.
But now.
Mike said.
Later. Sorry, back into the voice. I don't know. Make up a lie.
Luigi said before sprinting into a nearby department store. Mike hesitated for a split second.
Barricari, I have to tell you something.
Karakari demanded, stopping his slow inching to the edge.
You have a line here.
I said, stopping a slow inch into the edge.
Oh.
I kissed your wife!
Mike shouted. Parakarry got a look on his face. When? Parakarry asked hesitantly.
Whenever you went out of the house.
Mike said, making things up as he went.
You didn't satisfy your needs, so she came to me.
I guess!
Oh!
Parakarry said, feeling his gut wrench.
It's true!
Mike shrugged.
I guess you just couldn't bring it to the table!
Peter!
My voice is off and my acting is off right now.
Fine. Parakarry thought he was going to throw up. His thoughts turned from suicide to murder.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think we should stop after this chapter, because this has gone on longer than I was expecting it, so...
This is... Alright, keep going.
Thoughts turned from X to Y.
There was some There was some tongue. There was some tongue.
Mike added out of nowhere. You don't need to go into detail, Parakarry shouted.
Hey man, I'm just giving you some pointers in case some grace of God, by some grace of God, you can get another one.
Mike said. Jeez. You're a dead man, Mike! Parakarry shouted. He lurched forward and launched off the side of the third floor and aimed to tackle Mike. He knew the second he was falling that was going to come up short, meeting face to face with the tiled floor at lethal speed. Suddenly, a mattress appeared under him. Parakarry hit the pillow top mattress, softly saving him from being splattered. Luigi gave a sigh of relief. Thankful he managed to push the mattress under him in a nick of time.
Thanks for stalling him while I got the mattress, Mike.
Luigi said. The word Mike brought back Parakarry's plans of murder. Oh gosh. I'm gonna kill you, Mike! Parakarry shouted. And I don't need legs to do it, please.
That's the spirit!
Luigi said. The crowd erupted in applause, amazed at Luigi's quick thinking, which saved a life. It was then that Fred came back with 2 folders.
I asked for Parakarry's medical records. I didn't know which Parakarry I was talking about.
Fred reported. Luigi took the folders. He grinned as he read the information held within.
Just as I thought. Your legs are gonna heal, Parakarry.
Luigi announced. Wait, what?
They mistook your files for some girl named Parakarry.
Luigi said.
She has gangrene in her legs, so they had to cut them off. You just have broken bones.
So I'll be better someday, Parakarry asked. Luigi nodded. The happiness that washed over Parakarry's face was more than rewarding for Luigi. As the others helped Parakarry back into his wheelchair, Luigi went over to Mike.
Hey, that was a pretty clever lie you told.
Luigi said. Mike's eyes darted left and right.
Just between us, that wasn't exactly a lie.
Luigi's eyes went wide.
And if you tell anyone, you're a dead man.
Mike threatened. He left the scene, leaving Luigi to stand there, a fear plastered on his face. Fred came up from behind and patted him on the back.
Hey, great job today, rookie.
Fred congratulated.
You're making mall guards everywhere proud.
Thanks! I'm sorry.
Luigi said.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a brother's car's tires to go slash.
Fred said.
He tried to run me over in the parking lot yesterday, and I have a feeling he's here to do it again today.
Luigi looked at his watch. The day was speeding by, seeing how it was already 12:30. His grumbling stomach confirmed his hunger, and so Luigi returned to the food court.
Jeez, is there anything in this food court that isn't deep fried and smeared with grease?
Luigi asked.
Oh, hey, Dexter's back.
Nova.
Oh, yeah, hold on.
Only the highest professionalism here on story time. That wasn't even dramatic. Correct.
No, isn't it great?
Thank you.
Oh, big boy. Did you know your little brother is causing a ruckus?
Luigi asked.
Isn't he?
Dexter asked.
Hey, did you hear about that pet store guy who says some idiot from Ferocious Lions?
Lions?
Luigi asked.
Well, I just heard they were big cats with rabies.
Dexter added.
Wow, that story is getting out of hand.
Luigi said to himself.
When was that?
Oh, no. So,
Dexter.
what is there to eat around here?
Luigi asked.
That place over there says deep fried mayonnaise on a stick.
Dexter pointed out Luigi lost his appetite.
Fucking God. I'll pass. I'll pass.
Luigi said weakly. Suddenly his walkie-talkie went off again. Yeah, I don't know who's saying this. We got code 54 Bloopers Barrel of Fun. Who's available? A stream of declines blared through the speakers. I'm busy.
Okay.
I'm busy.
I'm handling something at Sector 6.
My brother just shot me with an elephant tranquilizer. I think I'll pass out at any moment now.
Fred's voice reported. Luigi picked up the walkie-talkie.
I'm on it.
Good man, rookie.
Looks like lunch will have to wait.
Luigi said as heroically as possible.
There are lives at stake.
Doubt it.
Dexter said. Luigi ignored Dexter and ran to the nearest directory, searching for Blooper's Barrel of Fun shop. The name seemed familiar somehow, but Luigi had no time to dawdle on such random thoughts. Locating the store's location, Luigi sprinted through the large, congested halls of the mall until he saw the store's name. Getting to a halt, the sight he saw through the large glass windows almost made him lose what little bowel control he had. A man in a ski mask was pointing a weapon at the poor employee, demanding things in a threatening voice. But sir, we're sold out! The employee tried to reason.
Ball!
The gun-toting villain shouted.
I know you got a Nintendo P in the back, and I want you to get it.
Believe me, I'd rather give you a Nintendo P than take a bullet, but we don't have any. Luigi couldn't believe this was happening, but now was not the time to be a coward. Now was the time for action. Holding his breath, he inched towards the store's entrance, tiptoeing so that he wouldn't be detected by the criminal. Hey! The employee shouted. You're not allowed in here. He pointed to the wall behind him, holding the pictures of all the people not allowed in the store. Among them was Luigi's mug.
You can't be serious!
Luigi shouted. Hey man, I don't make the rules, but if I let you in here, I get fired.
I'm trying to save your life, man!
Luigi reasoned. The criminal spun around and pointed his gun at Luigi.
Hey! What are you trying to pull?
He shouted. Luigi's heart stopped.
If you're gonna try and play the hero, then I'm gonna have to do something about it!
He threatened.
So either you're gonna let me take care of my business, or I pull this trigger! Think you can dodge a freaking bullet?
Luigi put his hands up.
All right, chill, dude. I'm backing off, see?
Luigi took a few steps back.
I'll just back up and ha!
Luigi quickly grabbed his ticket book and heaved it at the ski masked criminal. The book hit the ground inches in front of his feet.
You're a dead man.
He said coldly. He stared at Luigi for a half second before sprinting in his direction. Luigi screamed and ran through the mall. As fast as Luigi was, the criminal's longer, lankier legs allowed him to run faster. Luigi didn't make it halfway down the corridor before he was tackled to the ground. The criminal sat on his stomach and shoved the barrel of his gun into Luigi's cheek.
You're dead, you hear me? You are dead! You're a dead man!
The criminal screamed. In his excitement, his finger slipped and pulled the trigger. A squirt of water splashed Luigi's cheek.
A squirt gun?
Luigi almost yelled. The criminal said. Luigi grabbed him by the throat and in one motion spun and pinned him to the ground, so Luigi was now on top. Defenseless, the criminal begged for forgiveness.
Please. This is just a misunderstanding. How about we make a deal? I got cash!
Luigi ignored his pleas and brought out the handcuffs. The criminal was shackled and sent off to jail, all thanks to Luigi. He reached for his ticket book and realized it was missing. Luigi returned to the store and saw it lying on the carpeted ground well into the store.
Hey, can you pass me my ticket book?
I'm not paid to do that, the employee replied. Luigi looked at the employee intensely. Without warning, he ran into the store, picked up the ticket book, turned and was tackled to the ground by the employee. After a severe beating and being physically thrown out of the store, Luigi went back to the food court for a well-deserved lunch break. The rest of the day wasn't nearly as exciting. Well, except for one final run-in with Tim at the hardware store.
Hey, I got a call about a disturbance in this store.
Luigi asked. He saw Tim at the counter. Yeah, this kid is driving away my customers, the desk clerk said, pointing to Tim. I'm just trying to return this item, Tim defended himself.
On what grounds?
Luigi asked. I bought this bone saw here yesterday, but it didn't cut through bone as it advertised itself to, so I'm asking you to return it.
That's it.
Luigi said, breaking out his ticket book.
You're banned from ever returning to this mall.
Tim pointed his saw at Luigi. I'll give you two options, plumber. Option A, you don't write a ticket out of choice, or option B, you don't write a ticket because you don't have a hand to write with. Luigi paused, looking at the saw. He ran out of the store, deciding he'd write the ticket another time. Tim gave chase, and for the rest of the day, Luigi played a deadly game of cat and mouse with Tim. He finally got him off his back sometime later by hiding in a dumpster out back. When he decided that Tim gave up, Luigi emerged from the dumpster and looked at his watch.
2 hours?
Luigi shouted, not believing time went by that quickly. Then again, when a crazy man with a saw is hunting you down, time can distort itself. It was 15 minutes to quitting time, so Luigi headed back to the basement of the mall and headed for the HQ of the mall security squad. Hey Luigi, how was your first day? Chief asked.
Eventful.
Luigi replied. Well, today's payday, so here's your check. The chief replied. Luigi forgot that he was starting on payday. He took the check gratefully, ripping open the envelope eagerly. He gazed at his pay.
$27?
Luigi shouted. Hey, you're still just a rookie, the chief replied. It'll be a while before you get into the big leagues like Fred here and make $30 a day. Fred sniffed his check and let out a pleasant sigh.
The sweet smell of payday.
Luigi ripped off his badge and threw it on the chief's desk. No way in the underwear was Luigi going to put up with this crap from morning to night for only $27 a day. He stormed out of the HQ with his things and met Mario in the parking lot. On the way home, Luigi told Mario of his horrifying day that landed him such a small paycheck. It was agreed that they'd stick with their safe, sound plumbing job.
And the worst part of it all
Luigi continued as he walked through the front door with Mario.
was that there was this stupid rumor about me and this Cascor guy all day.
Mario plopped down on the couch and turned on the TV. And in other news, an ordinary store clerk nearly gave his life in a heroic act of bravery as he saved a poor, emotionally distraught weakling from a horde of trained homicidal saber-toothed tigers with rabies. When we asked about the story, the pet store employee said,
What are you people talking about?
See what I mean?
Luigi asked. Mario shrugged. Mario shrugged. And yes, if you didn't guess, Cascor was an author cameo.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually wrote a pretty decent, like, high school ship fic that I read when I was younger.
Oh.
Like, it never finished, so I'm not sure if we'd read it here, and it's pretty darn dark, so I'm not sure if I'd want to read it anyway.
This, at least in humor, this is probably some of the darkest humor we have seen from the L stands for loser.
Yeah.
And that's saying something, because this, I mean, inherently is just mean-spirited.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, I have very mixed feelings on this chapter because it is, and this is not the first time this has happened, but this feels, I think it's jarring for me to go from something that was at least attempting to have a cohesive narrative, then going to this where it really is just random events and happenstances.
See, this... I'll let you finish.
But... And I think that might be what turned me off from this chapter, is that it... I guess the best way to put it is that it is not very well plotted, but for the most part it is funny enough to make up for it.
I think context matters in this case. Like, this was, like, the previous three-part was just meant to be a diversion of sorts. Like, from what we know, Whimzilla was planning to just make more regular chapters of the story before just kind of stopping early.
I do have to say that I wish this got its own episode focused on it, but the scene between Luigi and Daisy was sweet.
Yeah.
I would have been executed better if it wasn't this random happenstance that isn't brought up again. That is probably the big issue with this, is the plotting feels really random.
I guess it's fair.
I didn't mind it. It's just it's a day in the life of a mall cop. Their days are pretty random.
Yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from, Tanner. I think for me this was like a nice change of pace from the previous couple chapters. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Because my issue with those is that they kind of lost me when they were trying to make it make a proper plot out of it. Whereas I feel like this was more back to form, I guess. And I actually throughout this whole, well, not the whole chapter, but a good chunk of it, I was pretty much dying. So yeah.
That is what that I guess for the most part it is funny enough to make up for it. There are a lot of really strong jokes. My favorite is the pair of brother cops. Those were probably my favorite side characters.
Yeah.
Those-
Yeah. Like this chapter reminded me of why I enjoyed this story in the first place.
And Scrappy, I would say I understand what you mean now when you say this was the most sardonic. I wouldn't say it's like the most vicious satire I have ever seen, but there are lines and jokes here. Like right at the end, Luigi being underpaid. Uh Definitely the joke with Mario taking the test and all of his answers are just Papa Cap and the little lawbreaker. That caught me off guard,
That's amazing.
but no, I think, and it's not the most original satire, but uh, but it certainly was interesting to see.
Yeah.
I made such a non-point there.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I said sardonic earlier. I probably just meant I just want a fancy word for mean-spirited, but I guess that also works.
Yeah.
Again, I speak the English well.
Yeah, it's not outwardly satirical. Well, it kinda is.
Like, to a degree.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, Mario's a friggin' psychopath, but I do appreciate that some character development carried over. Like,
He's not mean to Luigi at all.
yeah, he actually, has some concern for his well-being,
Mm-hmm.
even if he's still a 8-year-old in an adult's body.
Oh yeah. I found it weird that he's mute again.
Yeah.
Okay, the Mr. L arc is just the super edgy theatrical movie that they break some of the series rules. That's just the easiest way to look at it.
That's enemy. That's the deconstruction episode. That's their Homer's enemy.
Yeah.
Guess so. What was I gonna say? Like, Mario can talk. He's just too lazy to do it.
Yeah. I do have to say though, Mario, it was weird because he was the worst character when he started out because he really wasn't a character as much as he was a plot device to make things go wrong for Luigi. And in these chapters, they've allowed him to, I guess, be less of a cartoon character. He's a lot more emotive. He has a line of thinking. I wouldn't even call him stupid like I did before. He's just a child. And
to some degree, I kind of enjoy just Mario and Luigi's morning routine more than Luigi at the mall.
that scene went on for way too long.
But it was funny.
But it was. I like Luigi playing the role of a mom.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I think we have to talk about the pullover scene.
Oh gosh.
I don't know what it added to the story, but I'm glad it was in there because it was great.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Sometimes you just gotta let little gags live on their own.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I would say that some of my favorite jokes in some of my favorite comedies are completely disconnected from the plot.
Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah. Luigi being racist aside, it was a great gag.
That was a really good gag. I think what gets me is the implication that they do this on a regular basis.
Oh god, yeah.
Mario's coasting. Like we all know that guy who gets through life easily, but if one thing goes wrong,
Yeah. Okay, I have to go.
My planet needs me.
Yeah. No, my degenerates need me. Cause in another server we're watching Die Hard.
Nice. Alright, well,
well, so much for finishing this story up in one session.
Well, I wanted to stop soon anyway because it was getting late.
Yeah, I know.
We can try and finish up next time. Or do Star Wars, whatever comes first.
All right. I'll see
Um,
you guys later.
Alright, so you want me to
Alright
stop the
then.
stream just in general
Well,
then?
Nova needs to give his final thoughts.
Oh,
It was funny for what it was, and I at least appreciate that little closing, little closure to Luigi and Daisy's relationship.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's not the real closure. Next chapter will do that.
Mhm.
But yeah, this is just a nice little back to basics episode after the drama bomb of the prior 3 chapters.
Yeah.
Like, I guess one thing I did appreciate about this chapter when I was reading it when I was younger, yeah, Luigi got the snot kicked out of him, but he made out relatively unscathed this time.
Mm.
Like, relatively.
Yeah.
And he actually saved a life. He was like for once he actually did get some mild recognition from the public.
Yeah. I would say, it did get me for a little bit during the dream sequence or whatever, because I was like, is this a thing that's actually happening where like while Luigi tries hitting Luigi and he just like gets destroyed because of his abs or
Rock
what?
hard abs.
Yeah, and it's like there's no way this is actually happening.
I appreciate that even in this dorky version of Luigi's dreams, Waluigi still somehow sucks more.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I enjoy this chapter for the most parts. This subject matter gets like really dark though.
Yeah, kinda. I appreciate this for being like a return to form though.
Like it's weird. Like everyone's mean spirited, mostly to each other rather than to Luigi.
Yeah. That's a fair point.
He he kind of avoided the brunt of abuse, sort of.
Hmm.
Oh dear. Like honestly, this could have, if Whimsical had continued the story, he could have honestly made it into just a broader ensemble piece. Like Mario, Dexter, Tim, Peach, whenever she shows up, are strong enough to carry stories.
Yeah, I'd say that's a good set of characters.
Oh gosh. Like Waluigi really should. I wish Waluigi had shown up more in this story.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of characters, even though it was only like for a little bit, it was nice to see Dexter again.
Yes. Thank you, Nova, for being here because I can't friggin' bother with his accent. Scrambling
Yeah.
between like 4 different ethnicities. Last time I
Yeah.
tried it.
Well,
Is there an
yeah,
actual?
you're
Is there an actual what?
I was gonna say, is there an actual Dexter in the Mario universe, or is that like a?
OC.
Okay.
He's just a regular Toad character that the author created.
Okay. In my mind, it's just Dexter from Dexter's Lab because it's just funnier.
Okay, well, I think that's about all I've got. Yeah, I was hoping to get through the final chapter, but guess I'll be safe for later. That is shorter than the preceding 4 chapters, so don't worry.
Mhm.
And that will be our conclusion. Like Whimsilla specifically calls this the bonus chapter.
Mhm.
So we'll get that sometime.
So yeah, somehow this ended up being an hour and 44 minutes. So I'm not sure how that happened, but yeah.
These aren't script format anymore, so we have to actually read character actions in full.
Mm.
Oh, dear.
Alright,
Well, that's all I got.
okay. So I guess come back next time and are we gonna just wrap this up next time?
Wrap this up and probably maybe read a one shot to kind of just like bolster the episode. But
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah, if we can find something, that'll be good.
Okay. Also, I should provide a note. As as this story, excuse me, as this show is kind of a part of like C's Brain's programming, so to speak. I just wanted to give our viewers advance notice. We will probably be shifting Storytime with Scrappy onto a different Twitch channel in the near future, probably within 4 to 5 episodes, whenever we get the Twitch channel set up. So I will keep you posted on that.
Okay. Yeah, we'll figure things out in the background.
He says with his fingers crossed behind his back.
Yeah.
But until then, I'm Storytime, and this is Scrappy Fan. No. I'm Scrappy Fan, and this is Storytime. Thank you, have a good night, and please wash your hands.
See you guys next time.